Tonight, Hawker says no to hosting a nuclear waste dump and calls for the MurrayDarling Basin plan to be paused.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Hawker residents have said no to hosting a nuclear waste facility. 52% of residents voted against the proposal, with the site now ruled out. Laura Milovanovic has more.
It was a close vote, but 52% of residents rejected hosting the nuclear dump. And the news has been felt in Canberra, with Matt Canavan today announcing Hawker is out of consideration.
Even though the legislation does not require it, there is no requirement at all to consult with the community. But we always said from the start that we would, and that we would listen to what the community had to say, and we have done, and we've given up on the idea of placing the facility at Wallabadina.
862 votes were formally counted, only 71% of voters taking part.
This has been a long-running, very intense issue in the community for quite some time. So I anticipated that we would have had a bigger rollout, I suppose, of community members having their say.
Mixed emotions for the town of Hawker.
Some people are going to be feeling up over the moon and some people are going to be feeling down in the dumps.
However, think it should have faced a broader audience.
Every South Australian should have a say about what happens in South Australia. You know, this is a wheat belt. This is a food bowl of South Australia.
The Minister today thanking those who participated in the ballots in both communities. There are no other proposed sites other than Kimber at the moment, but the final decision won't be made until January next year.
Broken Hill State MP says the state government threatening to pull out of the MurrayDarling Basin plan is not a good move. Roy Butler says pausing the plan and a federal royal commission into its management is the best way to fix its problems.
If we don't have a royal commission, all we do is we kick the problems down the road for someone else to deal with once it rains. What we need to do is pause the plan and actually get to the bottom of decisions that have been made.
South Australia held its own royal commission into the plan, but New South Wales rejected its findings. A neglected property on the Augusta highway may soon be turned into a new mobile petrol station. Plans for what was the old Hungry Jack's restaurant are now on show in the council office. A development application has been lodged for the site, complete with restaurants and a drive-through.
Port Augusta is uniquely positioned. Obviously, it's known as the crossroads of Australia, but it's part of a national network route. So traffic through the town and staying in the town, fuel is an important component.
The community can have their say on the development of the site by visiting the council office by January 2nd. A Broken Hill pub is looking to set up a gin and whiskey distillery in the new year. The Tidville Hotel and Bistro says it's waiting on a development application to be approved.
Hot on the heels of taking out New South Wales's Best Palmy Award for 2019, the Tidville Hotel has its eyes set on a major project.
It's great for the tourists, it's great for the town. We've got more employment opportunities to come with all what we're doing.
And what the Tidville is doing is establishing a gin and whiskey distillery in its beer garden. They're partnering with award-winning gin maker Fossey's to make sure the setup goes smoothly.
I think this is a really good, solid step in the right direction for both Broken Hill, myself, and for Eric and the Tidville Hotel.
Eric says he hopes to see the concoctions of the soon-to-be-named Broken Hill Distillery reach a national and even international market. It's hoped the idea will create another Silver City attraction.
Keep Broken Hill thriving, we have to introduce new products, whether it's in a pub, whether it's in a local shop. If you've got a unique product, tourists will come in and buy it.
The current plan is to make 4 kinds of gin and a single malt whiskey, with an aim to be up and running by mid-2020. Up to 8 new jobs will be created.
If we can get it all done in town, that's the main goal. Have it all done here, all the employment's in town, and then push it out from here.
The project is awaiting council approval. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Christmas is one of the busiest times of the year, especially on our roads. Experts say there are simple things drivers can do to make sure they arrive at their destinations safely.
Staying safe on the roads is one of the biggest priorities coming into the festive season. With an influx of drivers, it's important people look under the hood before taking off.
The simplest things you can check yourself are your engine oil level and your engine coolant level. But when checking the engine coolant, it should always be done when the vehicle's cold.
Experts are warning of the dangers of driving in vehicles that are not roadworthy.
More risk of being involved in a collision, or if you are in a collision, that the injuries sustained while you're in that collision are greater if your car's unsafe.
With the highways becoming a popular route for travellers, Road Safety Assistance sees a spike in call-outs over the New Year period.
A lot more people that are stressed and trying to get to their destinations for Christmas, which is understandable. So, yeah, all the little things you can do before you leave home will certainly make your journey a lot safer and a lot less stressful.
And we're also being reminded of the importance of driving effectively.
Make good choices on the roads, particularly in relation to using your mobile phone or overtaking. Those are the two biggest risk areas that we see.
Police presence will be enhanced over the Christmas period to ensure safety on our roads. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, Pick a Picket launched in Port Pirie, and Whyalla gets ready for carols in the park. Welcome back. Port Pirie Council is giving locals a chance to purchase a picket at Memorial Oval. The Mayor says it's a thoughtful Christmas present for a loved one or sporting group.
White and bright, this fence is one of many highlights at Port Pirie's new Memorial Oval.
I think it looks fantastic and it defines the playing area, so to speak. You know, up Port Augusta they don't have the fence like we do, and it's a bit of an open spanse, whereas this really defines the area.
And local members of the community can become part of the fence through the Pick a Picket initiative.
For example, if you have a father or father-in-law or grandfather that passed away that have been really connected to a football club in that area, that you can actually buy a little picket to memorize him.
The idea isn't just for paying tribute to past community members. Plaques can also be purchased by sporting clubs.
Perfectly the present. In fact, my wife and I had a little chat about it with putting her father there. So, just getting a little picket for him. Perfect idea for a Christmas present.
A lot of sporting clubs have taken up the opportunity to put themselves on there, and plenty of members of the public. So, yeah, it's a really good way to have a bit of ownership of the Oval.
There'll also be future opportunities with plenty of fence line to fill and some sporting premierships up for grabs.
Might have a look at doing that one day if I do something good enough to get myself on there.
More information can be found on the council's website. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Rehearsals for Whyalla's Carols in the Park this Sunday are underway, with the community choir busy preparing. It's the 14th year in a row they've performed.
A full dress rehearsal and voices in tune. All that's left are the final tweaks for Sunday's performance.
The Carols Committee get together every February, so it's a year-long run-up to getting the event organised, and the choir have been practising for the last couple of months, and these last few weeks have been full on.
The Christmas choir, aged from 4 right through to retirees, join together once a year for the event, along with many other surprise special guests.
We've got recording artists, we've got some special surprises, there'll be the calisthenics crew coming along, and if boys and girls have been good, there might even be a big old man in red.
The family-friendly event in Civic Park will include classic Christmas songs, dance routines, along with all new performances.
We have a really good mix of traditional carols along with some of the really fun Christmas songs, and there's some dancing in there as well. It's a really colourful spectacle. We just want everyone to come out and celebrate Christmas with Whyalla.
Choir performers say they are getting excited.
Just feel really good because I'm entertaining people.
The choir encouraged the community to come along and enjoy the festivities with a message to bring a rug or a chair for the night, and most importantly, your singing voice.
I'm really excited because it's my first time and I think it's got to be really fun.
The show gets underway at 7 p.m. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A veteran real estate agent of Broken Hill has decided to retire after over 30 years in the business. John Bent says the biggest change he's noticed in the industry is how properties are advertised and how agents communicate with clients.
We don't have as many telephone calls as we did. If you do make a telephone call, you're almost obligated to back it up with an email to say this is exactly what I said.
John says he's looking forward to volunteering in the community and spending time with his granddaughters. All the best, John. International artists have touched down in Port Pirie for a local workshop. 38 members came together for the event, helping create sustainable art pieces for the region.
Tearing, dyeing and knitting, the Bridge to Nowhere Arts Association are on a mission today, but they say it's more than just art.
Friendships and I guess friendships have come together because people have formed a bond over these materials that we're building.
This group is mentored by international guests, making this workshop extra special.
I do a lot of work with different communities, especially communities that are located in regions.
This Indigenous member has travelled worldwide creating unique pieces of art and says it's important for the community to bond.
And for every community to be involved with art, and it's also a good way of expressing yourself.
The public is being encouraged to visit this art and get involved.
Fabulously, our gate will be displayed in public on Esmond Road at the front of Pirie Fodder. Poetry will form part of another exhibition.
I highly recommend that you come and give it a go and just come and be a part of it. Don't be shy.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. We look back at the stories that made headlines in our region during 2019. Our final year in review segment is next. Welcome back. Elders Wireless celebrated their company's 180th birthday last night. Originally founded by Alexander Elder in 1839, the business started with sheep trades to local farmers. The milestone also acknowledging Elder's role in supporting them.
As time went on over the generations, we've developed into all the extra things that farmers need, like finance, banking, farm supplies.
The Wireless business has been running for over 35 years now, with its main focus on real estate in the city. Time now to look back at the events that defined the year. It was marked by devastation, with millions of fish deaths, union rallies and worldwide protests. But there was also the good, as farmers stood together in times of drought and towns celebrated their diversity.
The year started with shock as scenes of more than 1 million dead fish near Menindee caught national headlines. An extreme change in the weather saw a severe algal bloom, which drained the water's oxygen, leading to suffocation.
You know, locals that are retired, that have spent their whole life here, they haven't seen this. This isn't normal.
As the region's farmers faced drought, communities stood up to help, donating hay to those affected.
We started with an aim of 5,000 bales. But we've done 5,800 because we've continued to receive donations.
Almost 2 months on from the devastating fish deaths, Broken Hill's water supply was finally secured, with the $500 million Murray River pipeline officially turned on.
It's a celebration of a pipeline, a lifeblood for this community, a proud day, a historic day.
Easter was marred with heartbreak on the Eyre Peninsula after a father and young daughter were swept out to sea and drowned.
We had people on scene just after 2 o'clock. And we had the helicopter in the air over the scene after at around 3:30.
A month later and another tragedy struck, a horror crash at Tumby Bay which claimed the life of an 18-year-old and left the driver in hospital. This was just the start of South Australia's horror road toll.
We've had enough road carnage in this state already this year. Enough is enough.
Thousands of locals and visitors headed to the racetrack in March for the annual St. Pat celebrations and Silver City Cup. In May, Port Augusta had almost completed the clean-up from the power station's demolition a year ago.
Well, it is very close to the end. All our site work's been done.
It was a sad farewell on the lower Eyre Peninsula as the century-old railway fell silent.
We still have a connection with the train, and so does our children.
Port Pirie received some good news with air pollution on the decline.
It means having no children at risk. It means having no families at risk.
Broken Hill received a big boost with the government funding a multi-million-dollar upgrade for Jubilee Oval.
It's been a long time coming, and the paperwork and the boxes you've got to tick and the approvals you've got to get is absolutely amazing for a project of this size.
A 33-year-old voyage came to an end in Port Pirie with a HMAS Success spending her final days in the bay.
Bittersweet, exciting to see her. I don't think I've laid eyes on Success for
12 years or so.
South Australia's fishermen were left in uncertain waters this year as the government announced a statewide snapper ban. Emotions ran high as businesses were forced to close doors.
It is catastrophic for our family, and not only my family, the other 30 operators around the state that are relying on snapper as well.
Healthcare was in the spotlight in September, with Kimber's doctor shortage attracting the federal minister's attention.
This is about getting more doctors and more nurses and more health professionals into the Eyre Peninsula.
Climate change dominated headlines this year, with students and teachers protesting across the globe and here in our region.
We're scared for our future. We don't know what's going to happen and we need climate policies.
A man had a lucky escape after being forced to jump off Whalers Jetty after it erupted in flames. A nearby police officer sprang into action.
We're extremely proud of the officer's actions. Shortly after he arrived, he saw that there was a man in trouble in the water and without hesitation took his clothes off and jumped in to save him.
A Port Lincoln nurse was left battered and bruised after being violently attacked by a patient, the act sending shockwaves across the region.
They just hit me in the head at least a few times before I knew what was going on. I had no time to defend myself or do anything. I started screaming and yeah, they kept hitting me.
The Hill Festival saw thousands flock to the Silver City with accommodation in the town booked out. In November, a devastating bushfire erupted in Tinderbox scrubland on the outskirts of Port Lincoln. Scorching temperatures and wind gusts fanned the flames as the fire spread towards the town.
Everything just came in black, pitch black, smell, couldn't even breathe properly, you know, just had some tea towels around our faces to try and breathe.
Energy company Equinor submitted its environmental plan to the national regulator to start drilling in the Great Australian Bight. Emotions ran high, with paddle outs being held across the nation.
I hope that they see that this is our backyard and that we really care about the place, and they're coming all the way from Norway and they think that they can drill somewhere like that. And yeah, I hope they just see that we're so passionate.
And Port Augusta celebrated its diversity by hosting the first Headspace Pride event in the town's history. A colourful high in a year of ups and downs for the region and its locals.
Stay with us after the break. Our cricket experts will preview the weekend's matches. And Britt has a weekend forecast. Hello again. Time to preview the weekend's cricket action. Here's our experts with their tips.
G'day and welcome to this week's round of cricket tips for Port Augusta. This week we have West taking on Corn at Tinnery Park. This should be a good match. Corn, the top sides, I reckon they'll beat West Augusta. So the other match sees South Augusta take on Central Stirling. This should be a good match as well, played on turf, but I can't see Central Stirling beating South Augusta. So there are my two winners, Corn and South Augusta.
Hello and welcome to round 8 of Port Pirie Cricket. This round starts with Solly North taking on Port Germain at Memorial Oval from 10:30. Solly North had a big win over Props last week and will be looking for their first win away from Pirie West. I'm tipping Port Germain to cause an upset. At Port Oval, it's Wandera up against Southport from 12:30. Wandera in red hot form and she'll be too strong for Southport.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. Big round of cricket here and the last one before the Christmas break. First game sees Lincoln South and Todd River out at Centenary Oval. I think Todd River will be too strong in this one. In the next game, Waybacks and Charlton at Ravendale. Gonna tip Waybacks to get over the line in this one in a really tight, close match. And in the final match, first versus second, Tasmans versus SES. Gonna tip my boys Tasmans to get over the line and finish on a high just before Christmas. Thanks for listening to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Final round of Broken District cricket before the Christmas break this weekend, the fourth round of 2020 cricket. In the early game at the Alma Oval, Central take on South. I'm taking a bit of an upset here. I think the Roos can make it 2 straight in 2020 cricket. I think they're more suited to the 2020 cricket against Central. In the other game, North take on West. North batting riding high at the moment. Some pretty good batsmen making good scores. I think they'll carry too many guns for the West side.
And with a look at the weekend weather, here's Britt.
Good evening. 29 the top at Broken Hill today, Port Augusta 27, Port Lincoln and Port Pirie both 26, Whyalla and Adelaide 23. From the satellite, mostly clear skies under a high pressure ridge with dry winds. Moving along to tomorrow, southeasterly winds on the waters tending to the southwest with seas around 2 metres. Sunrise at 6:02 with sunset at 8:25. Sunny conditions pretty much across the board, a little bit of cloud over Port Lincoln and Adelaide, but for the most part, we'll be starting the weekend with sunny skies. Looking at a top of 34 degrees at Woodner, Corn 33, Port Augusta and Broken Hill both 32, Port Pirie 30, Clare 29, Cleve 28, Whyalla and Kadina both 27, Adelaide 25, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both 21. Warming up across the region on Sunday, and those temperatures are expected to soar through the week as a severe heatwave situation hits us Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Partly cloudy with a top of 27 at Port Lincoln on Sunday, remaining partly cloudy into the new week. Cleve and Woodner both looking sunny Sunday and Monday. Sunny days ahead at Whyalla and Port Augusta, both with maximums heading into the 40s early next week. Kadina fine and 33 on Sunday, hot and sunny Monday and Tuesday. Hot and sunny at Port Pirie, Clare and Broken Hill over the coming days. Maximums in the mid to late 30s on Sunday, increasing into the 40s by Tuesday. So do take care in those severe conditions next week. And John, that's the weather for today and for 2019. I'll see you next year.
Looking forward to it, thanks Brett. And that's the news for tonight, the week and the year. On behalf of the team across your region, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you again on Monday the 13th of January. We'll leave you now with the best of the Christmas slates in Whyalla. I'm John Hunt, thanks for your company. We'll see you in 2020. Good night.